Thinking about luxury living in Loveland? Derek Tye and the Tye Group know something about it. Hello everybody, I'm Chuck Gibson, and this is Loveland Beacon Talks, a podcast. Coldwell Banker Realty recently announced Derek Tye has earned the distinction as Global Luxury Property Specialist and Certified Luxury Home Marketing Specialist. Derek also moved his Tye Group team office to downtown Loveland in the Loveland Gateway building right across from Loveland Dairy Whip. He has a great story to tell and insights into luxury living in Loveland. It's a pleasure to welcome him to Loveland Beacon Talks. So welcome Derek Tye. And listen, congratulations. And I want to get this right. Global Luxury Property Specialist, and there's another certification with that. We'll talk about that. But listen, thank you for joining us here on Loveland Beacon Talks and sharing your story.
Yeah, thanks, Chuck. I'm happy to be here and love to promote Loveland. First of all, I love Loveland. So there's no one in this area loves Loveland probably more than me. Well, there's a lot of people that love it, but I love it a lot. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, somebody would probably say I love it more than Derek. But,
yeah, there you go.
Maybe I would say that.
Hey, I like that competition.
You know what? Just on side note on that is, and I was talking, so I haven't been here that long. There's people who've been here forever, their entire lives and long times, but I've been here 27 years, and Loveland is home. And it is family. I'm sure you'll echo those sentiments.
Oh, yeah.
But what I wanted to ask you, because of the Global Luxury Product Specialist, we'll talk about what that means. But right away, because it is, let's focus on Loveland some too, and the stories around Loveland and real estate here in Loveland. What does that mean in the Loveland real estate marketplace, and how does that benefit buyers, sellers here in our community?
Well, sure. So I've been a real estate agent for almost 21 years now.
Yeah.
It's and this is something my very first property I ever sold was in Loveland.
Yeah. And
it was a luxury property. And the crazy story is, and I'll bring that back to your question, it was over $500,000. Wow. And that was in Oasis Golf Course, and it was a Clermont County home show in 2004. And I had built a home, actually two homes with a builder, Capital Custom Homes. And he always said, Derek, you're such a good salesperson, and you have your bachelor's degree, and you have all these things. He's like, you should get your real estate license and start working with me. And he's like, you'd kill it, because I need somebody professional. I need somebody that knows a lot of people in the community that's, can represent themselves physically well and, in person and build relationships. He's like, you can sell stuff. He's like, and you don't even have to sell because you are just yourself and you're helping people. He's like, that's the kind of person I want. So I literally went and got my real estate license after, working with this guy for 4 years, just kind of casually, and he built two homes for us as a family. So my wife and I have been married since 1996, and we've got 5 kids. And he has 7 kids. And so our wives and kids all became friends.
Oh, yeah.
And so over the last 21 years, from that very first luxury home sale in Loveland to where I am today, I've always dreamed about really having a luxury-centered business. But then to answer your question, what is luxury in Loveland? Well, technically, so in the Greater Cincinnati market, they define luxury as a median sale price of $500,000 or higher. So what's really interesting about that is a lot of people would say there are $500,000 properties around Greater Cincinnati that are definitely not luxury properties.
Right.
So this is kind of the subject of discussion, right? What defines luxury? Well, in Indian Hill, $500,000 won't even buy you a building lot right now. Like, you literally can't even buy the dirt to build a home for $500,000, and that's considered a luxury price range. You go to a place like Madisonville, you can now, which is crazy, you can buy today a $500,000 condo in Madisonville. So what is luxury? Is that $500,000? So what happens is each city sets their own standard and a median. So it's a certain percentage over median sale price. So if in Greater Cincinnati, for example, for like $275,000 median sale price in the whole Greater Cincinnati area, including all the $20,000 houses and all the $1 million houses, and you do the median, it's like $250,000, $275,000. Then you double that to get to the luxury. So defining luxury, there's a couple different ways. One is just on a per capita, per income per average sale price, median sale price, and then the other one is what does a luxury home look like and feel like, and that's different.
That's what That's what I want to know,
and that's different, right?
Yeah.
So if I walk into a property in Miami Trails, you can't buy anything for under $500,000 in Miami Trails right now. A lot of people in Greater Cincinnati would say, yeah, that's a luxury home. It's 3,500 square feet above grade plus a finished basement. You have a 3-car side entry garage. You have brick and stone. You have granite counters. You have marble sinks, and you have all these things, right?
Yeah.
And custom hardwood floors that are finished on site. And you have modern kitchens with 42-inch cabinets, and you have Bosch appliances or Wolf appliances. These are just little check marks that in their mind someone goes, that's a luxury property, right? So again, it comes down to the individual person, what they perceive as luxury. Yeah. But we can get into kind of individual success stories of clients in this area that are buying and selling luxury properties too.
Well, and let's go down that path a little bit.
Sure.
Share some of the stories you've had selling the properties here, and maybe, I guess at the end of the day, a happy client.
Oh, definitely. We got lots of those, right?
Yeah.
So we have one client who built a home back in the late 90s, 30 years ago. I won't give his name. I keep all my clients confidential. But
right.
He did very well in the corporate world, and for a major grocery retailer here in Cincinnati that we may know. And he climbed the ladder, did really well. He has many assets in the area. And then he bought this home for like $600,000 in Loveland and at Sims Township, Loveland. Now, side note, Loveland is broken up into 3 counties. Some people do know this, some people don't. So we have Loveland County. The city of Loveland is in Warren County, Claremont County, and Hamilton County.
Right.
Now, people would define Loveland in different ways too. Are you in the city of Loveland? Are you in the zip code 45140? Or are you in the school district of Loveland? Those are 3 different things.
Right.
So you can actually be in the combinations of all 3 of those. So, for example, I live in Miami Township. I live in Loveland mailing address 45140, and I am in Loveland School District. So I am 2 out of the 3, right?
Right.
I am not in the city of Loveland, but I would still consider myself a Loveland person or a Loveland resident, right? Now, other people might be in the city of Loveland, but in Little Miami schools or whatever, right? There's a couple of these little spots,
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point because a lot of people don't really realize the Hamilton, the Claremont, and the Warren County part, and then the Miami Township versus City of Loveland, and then the Loveland schools.
And Sims Township too, right?
Well, right, Sims Township, and I'm Loveland, but I'm not Loveland schools.
There you go. See.
And it's funny, since I came to Loveland 27 years ago, and I moved, I moved 7 miles driveway to driveway. So I went from Loveland proper and Warren County, Loveland, and City of Loveland services and everything. Moved 7 miles on Miami Township, and I'm no longer Loveland schools either.
Exactly.
Isn't it crazy?
And think about it this way. So, I'll give you another example. So, I'll finish that one story, then let me jump to a buyer. So, that was a seller story.
Right.
So, this guy basically said, we'd love to downsize. They have a 4,000 square foot above grade home. That's a big one, right?
Yeah.
Plus a finished basement, plus a 3-car garage, and a really nice community. So, we did all the comps on the house, and it should sell for about $875. Was about a good price. Now, his home was immaculate. They only lived in the home part-time because they have other homes. So the home was very well maintained. Looked like no one had ever lived in it, really.
Wow.
And so we listed it, and we got into multiple offers right away. Ended up selling, I think, for $950. Yeah. And the guy was thrilled. So, but he wanted to downsize. One of the criteria for him was, where am I going to move to in Loveland? Because a lot of these people that have these big homes, this is, Chuck, an ongoing. I hear about this every day, and I've been doing this 21 years. I hear about it almost every day. Derek, I'd love to move, but where am I going to move to? I'd like to downsize. I don't need a 4,000 square foot home. I'm in my 60s or I'm in my late 50s. I'm an empty nester. I have 1 kid at home. You fill in the blank. I don't need the school district anymore. I don't need to be in downtown Loveland anymore. Where do I go? Well, guess what? There have not been a lot of options up until the last year or 2 years. I can tell you, this particular client is a perfect example. He wanted to have a luxurious type home, but he didn't really need to spend $1 million to do it. He also didn't want to maintain the exterior of the property. He didn't want to have to mow his grass anymore. And he didn't want a 3 or 4 story home. He wanted a ranch, like a 1-story living.
Right.
So my builder, Capital Custom Homes, came to the rescue. He decided with a development deal I put together, I'm very proud of this deal, I brought in a real estate agent from another company to help me be the salesperson of the community. He also had the relationship with the developer. I had the relationship with the builder, and we put everybody in a round table like this, and we got everyone to agree to sell 26 building sites together. And so my builder signed up for all 26 home sites on a step-up basis. We got the design approved by Goshen Township, which is still Loveland area.
Yeah.
So they are one of the three check boxes of Loveland. They are a Loveland mailing address.
Yeah.
But they're Goshen Township, which actually is cheaper taxes, by the way. So for someone who's retiring and downsizing, they get the benefits of Loveland. They're literally a mile from downtown Loveland. But they get the Loveland zip code. Yeah. So for mailing and for notoriety, I live in Loveland. But then they're in a different township. They're in Goshen Township.
So you're going up the hill, straight out,
right?
Yeah, right.
But what's crazy is you can still be a Loveland person who they've been a lifelong Loveland, and they still get to feel like they're around their neighbors, their friends they've made over all these years. Yeah. They supported the school district and all that. They can now do it on a lower tax basis. So this guy built every possible upgrade into his home. So the base price of these condos, these are called paired ranches. So we take a half an acre lot, we take two 1,800 square foot ranch homes, and we pair them together with one shared wall. Right. And it's usually the garages that connect and some other areas like kitchens, so you don't have, you don't want your bedroom.
It's not bedroom to bedroom,
right? Exactly,
or living area to living area, right?
So we pair these ranches together. So the starting base price is about $500,000. Finish the basement, add in a screen porch, add in extra finished area in the basement, upgrade your cabinets, upgrade your flooring, add some bells and whistles, put in new light fixtures that are above what a builder would normally put in. Now you're at $600. So he goes from $500 to $600. But guess what? He just sold a house cash for $950, right? So he's $350 on the upside. Now he has no maintenance on the exterior. He's a snowbird, so he's only here half the time. Yeah. So he still gets to be part of Loveland. He gets a fully maintained exterior property from the homeowners association. They cut his grass. They do his everything. He doesn't have to think about the house.
That works really.
So this is a perfect example of what's happening in Loveland right now, and that's considered luxury because it's $500,000 or up. Yeah. So I sold the luxury listing, and I helped him buy a luxury listing. Yeah. And we've done it 26 times in the last 2 years in that neighborhood, and we're about to break ground on phase 2. We're going to open up another 20 home sites back there, starting at $500,000.
And so that's up 48.
Yep.
Into, as you said, ultimately into Goshen Township, but still Loveland.
So, but a lot of people don't even know about this community. It's kind of the best kept secret. Yeah. We sold 26 of these properties in 24 months.
Wow.
That's a lot.
That's nice.
And we closed on 4 of them this month. We closed 2 last week. We're closing on 2 this week.
Man.
So we're hopping out there. And so that same builder, Chuck, is also building here in downtown Loveland. So we can't reveal all of our secrets yet.
I was going to say there's some things we just can't tell.
Well, those are all going to be $1 million, and they're going to be contemporary homes. Yeah. And so there's some product.
Those are going to be single-family homes.
They're like 3-story houses with rooftop decks.
Right, yeah.
They're standalone homes. They're not going to have any shared walls as of right now. 2-car garages, place for a bike, and we're going to have sidewalk access. So you can get right on the sidewalk, get into downtown Loveland with no super busy crossings, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
But that's going to happen. If someone wanted to reach out to me, I can give you the preview on that too. But we're just not putting it out there publicly yet.
Well, you know what? And while you just mentioned that, how do you reach out? So what's the best way to reach the Tye group while we're talking to them?
I give people my cell phone. I'm really old school.
That's okay.
Most real estate agents kind of hide behind their office lines and all that stuff. I've learned I end up becoming friends with my clients too. So it's like you're going to get my cell phone number eventually. You might as well have it now. So 513-478-3794.
There you go, 478-3794, and it's 513.
Yeah, same number for 20-some years.
And the voice that answers that is going to be Derek.
That's me. I don't have I do have admin help, but I generally try to answer my phone. You never know who's going to be the next person on the phone. I've had Bengals players call me, Bengals coaches, Reds, former Bengals players. I've got some people like to know they can reach you directly.
Sure.
We have a pretty successful YouTube channel, and we've produced about 40 videos on getting to know Cincinnati. And so I had them professionally produced. I'm kind of crazy, Chuck. When I do something, I want to do it in an excellent way. So I hired a production company out of, they're actually in Northern Kentucky, or Middle Kentucky, Lexington area. But they came in, they shot all this raw footage for me. They did interviews with me. They clipped all the behind-the-scenes stuff. But if you go on YouTube today and you type in the Tye Group as the channel name, there's like 40 high-quality videos. I go neighborhood. Here's all about Mason. Here's all about Sycamore Schools. Here's all about Loveland. Here's all about Miami Township, Milford. And I go through like the top neighborhoods in Cincinnati, and I say, why would you want to live there? And it's a half an hour in depth on each community, like schools and shopping and restaurants and home values and what's a 2-bedroom home cost and a 3-bedroom, and I love that stuff. I geek out on it. So
the YouTube channel, The Tye Group.
That's it.
And TYE for people that don't necessarily know. So the TYE Group.
And if they Google
YouTube
number
channel.
1 real estate agent in the world, I come up too. So I'm just kidding.
Now, how did you do that? you had me.
Hey,
folks, you couldn't see my face, but he had me on that.
Listen,
I was like, wow.
That's what my mom says, at least. So.
She should.
Yes, exactly.
It's mom. and I think your wife's supposed to say that,
yeah,
too.
she does, too. I've never done a billboard ad, and you've seen all these, and it's number 1 agent, number 1 agent.
Right.
I so want to do one that just says, number 1 agent in the world, thanks, Mom.
Right. That's a great...
I want to do that
billboard.
for marketing.
That would be a great billboard. Thanks, Mom.
According to my mom, or something funny, like just to kind of poke an eye.
Thanks, Mom works. Yeah.
Isn't that funny? Like,
I love it.
I mean, I want people to know I'm a real person and I have a sense of humor, and they're not going to get some stiff. You know me a little bit.
Oh, I was going to say, I always thought you were stiff.
Oh, thanks.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I try to be like some people do see some of the. I don't want to say this in a braggadocious way, but some people see some of the success I've had, and they just assume, oh, he's not very easy to talk to, or maybe don't bother him. Listen, you stop me at Kroger, stop me at downtown Loveland. I'm walking around all the time with my wife or dog or whatever. It's like I love to talk about families and real estate in Loveland and businesses coming to town. Like you and I had this great conversation just on the way in here. Like there's so much happening down here.
Well, I was going to say, I hope I didn't seem stiff to you. Because I'm going to tell you.
You're a successful journalist.
Well,
come on.
Thank you very much, Mom. Oh wait, I did not pay him to say that.
Yeah.
But Derek, the truth. I was kidding when I said it. I always thought you were stiff.
Yeah.
For the listeners, you've always, whenever we pass, you always reach out and say hi, Chuck, and so cool. I have found you to be very easy, to talk with.
I appreciate that.
And what do you want? Amiable, cordial, friendly.
I appreciate
all
that.
those nice things. The Tye Group on YouTube channel, check them out. But I do want to talk just a little bit. I know you're trying to be humble. You don't want to brag, but share what went into these certifications. And by the way, we didn't say this, so it's Coldwell Banker recognition.
That's right.
Congratulations.
So it's Coldwell Banker International. So they are. So they are. You can define this in a lot of different ways, but let's just call it the number 1 real estate company in the world by sales volume, by agents and things like that, right? So they're high marks. So that's one reason I recently moved my real estate business to Coldwell Banker. I was with eXp Realty. It was a great firm. They have a lot of assets. I still have a lot of friends there. I love their managers. I got to meet the founder, who's a billionaire. Like, it was a really cool experience. I sat at a table like you and I are sitting here. I mean, very accessible guy. I've never met a billionaire before, so
I haven't yet.
Well, that was my first experience, and he was very humble and very warm with me. And it was during COVID too. He could have been like, everyone's going to try to kill me with a disease or something, but he was like sitting with me, no mask on, just kind of hanging out. Right? We're just and he shook my hand, and it was very friendly. But anyway, we talked for a few minutes. That's a whole sidebar, but there's a whole interesting story about how I even got sat at the table with him. But this is God's favor in my life. He puts me in these rooms. I was the last guy in the room because I was traveling to Texas to do this. I got invited for a recognition thing. Okay, so I was one of the top 1% of the agents in eXp. So they sent me to this room, and there was 100 people in the room. And I got in there, and there was one table left in the back, and I sat down. And then this like Secret Service type group walks in, and they sat this guy next to me. I didn't even know who he was because I was brand new to the company.
Right.
And then I was like, I think that's the founder of the company. Anyway, we just sat there, and then we had our break. This line appears to get to meet him. Literally around the room, all 100 people line up. And I'm sitting next to him like the most, closest proximity. So what do you think I did, Chuck? I just got up and got to the back of the line so I could get to meet him. That's the way I do things. So, and he actually picked up on that. He's like, why didn't you just come over here and be first? I said, well, because the line had formed. I wanted to be respectful of the other 99 people that got in line ahead of me. And he's like, I'll give you some extra time. And he sat back down with me.
Oh,
so,
nice.
But he was like...
See, and that's the whole thing right there, in a nutshell.
I mean, so, and I'm not saying that to be kind of like some moral high ground, but those are the little things in life that we can do to show someone the respect. And so it's like, I gave him honor and said, I want to honor you. I'm going to get to the back of the line.
Perfect.
So that was kind of cool. But I try to teach my kids that stuff,
ultimately, coming back around.
Yeah.
Coldwell Banker is where you are now.
Yeah, so thanks for bringing me back.
That was a great story, though. That was a great story.
Well, now, so why did I go there? Well, so number one, they have Coldwell Banker is known for luxury, right? So in Greater Cincinnati, as of 2024, we're in 2025 now at the time of this recording, they were the number one transaction volume company in Greater Cincinnati. And then they were number one in Montgomery and number one in Loveland. Well, as you know from our past talking, I was the president of the Chamber of Commerce for Montgomery, and for several years, and I lived there for 10 years as well. And then I live in Loveland now, but I'm also involved with the Chamber of Commerce here with CC and all those guys. They're great people. So I wanted to be in the number one company, in the number one spot, and the number one designation. And I thought, how do I'm shooting for the stars, right? Like that's just I try to teach my 5 kids, like, go for whatever that number one thing is, and if you fall a little short, maybe you're number 2 or 3. You're still doing okay, right?
Real quick side note: we talked about Mom, we talked about your wife. The kids think you're number one too, right?
They sometimes.
Not really.
No, actually,
what does Parker call
my older 3? So I have 5. So my 3 boys. In the last couple of years, I've been so humbled and gracious. But my oldest son, when he was 21, bought his first house. On his own. He didn't get any down payment assistance from me, credit. He did it with his own credit. Like, I didn't co-sign for him. So he's now in a home that he has like $100,000 in equity in already. Now he's looking, today we're actually going after this to show him another house that he wants to. He's going to sell his home, get his capital gains free money out of it, if you know how that works.
Right.
Every 2 years, the U.S. government allows you as a single person to take up to $250,000 gain out of a sale of your property. And then you get to, if you're married, $500,000, and then you don't have to redo anything with the money. You don't have to reinvest it. It's just your money.
Right.
So if he makes $100,000, normally a capital gain rate would be 25% or so. Let's just say. So he should owe $25,000 to the IRS. Well, with the capital gains exemption for a home that you've lived in for 2 years. Now, I'm not an accountant. I'm not a lawyer, so you don't take my legal advice here. But I've done this like 4 times with me and my wife have done this. You take the gain out of it, and you can do whatever you want with it. We always reinvest it into more real estate. So my wife and I have bought and sold like 14 homes personally and a bunch of investment properties, and we still own multiple investment properties now. But we did that by taking the gain. We didn't kind of grow up with money, so to speak, right? So we didn't really have like wads of cash sitting around. So we had to generate our own income, get home value appreciation, take value out of the homes by selling them, and then reinvest the money over again. We've done that over and over and over again over, 28 years we've been married now. So, and now I'm teaching the kids to do that. So asking about Parker and Max and Tanner. Tanner bought his first house. He's doing really well. He's going to sell and buy again.
Yeah.
Max is 21. He's at Xavier University. He's a business student. Very, very bright kid. Dean's List, all those things. And
that's Dad talking, but I'm
he
sure
does pretty well. But he's also living at home, and he likes to run our farms. We have about 70 animals now on our farm. But he basically is on salary, payroll through our Branch Hill Estate company, and he manages our farm for us on salary. Plus, we're helping him pay through Xavier. That's a whole story.
Sure.
And then our third is Parker. He's 18. He's graduating from MBCA. He wants to buy his first house in the next 12 months. He's already got money saved up. He's got a money market account. He's got a trading account on Robinhood. And he's very investment minded. Yeah. Does really well. He's going to go to Liberty University.
I can't imagine where they got these ideas from.
These kids, man. These kids. So my 2 girls are, very young still, so they still haven't learned all this stuff yet. But
well, one of the things you touched on it a moment ago, Derek, and I want to get back to it when you were talking about like being in the right place, and that's like God puts us in the right place.
Yeah,
you mentioned that.
Yeah,
and I know because we've talked even just recently because I didn't know this for all these years, but God and faith have a very important role in your life and your journey. So
Definitely.
what do you want to share with listeners about that, or what are you willing to share? I'm forcing you here.
So one of the things, when I had reached some success, so I've sold about 1,700 properties here in the Greater Cincinnati area, and I took several years ago when I was with another real estate company, I kind of took a little step back. It was kind of right at the beginning of COVID, and kind of thought, what can I do to kind of give back a little bit? What can I do to help the next generation out? So I did write a book called The Lord's Prayer for Entrepreneurs: Unlock Success and Build God's Kingdom Through Your Business. So I think what I see, and this is a very long discussion made very short here for today's purposes, but people look at the clergy, they look at like a pastor on a stage, they look at the musician, or maybe some kind of a minister, and they say, well, that is like the peak of achievement for a Christian. Like, to get to the top of the mountain with God, you've got to be that. And what I read about in the Bible is all these everyday people, shepherds, business owners, kings, all these other people that are just willing to submit themselves to God, doing what they have been gifted to do. In my case, it's real estate. In your case, it's journalism. You take the desire, God gives you the desire of your heart. We think that is, I desire $1 million, He's going to give me $1 million. When we hear God gives you the desire of your heart, He gives you the things that you desire. So for me, I desire to be around real estate people and real estate deals, and I love I can tell you 1,700 stories of real estate deals. I love it. I'm passionate about it, right? So God gave me that desire. So then, do I say, okay, I'm going to put all that aside? Like, a big soul-searching thing for me was, well, should I like quit all of this stuff, all the business things, and just go into full-time ministry, because I felt like a heart to minister to people and teach them about God and things like that, right? But then I felt like God very strongly told me through mentors and through coaches and reading other books is like, hey, I made you a certain way. I gave you certain gifts. I gave you certain opportunities. I gave you favor with people that a pastor may not be able to get favor with. You bring the kingdom, it's in you, right? So I believe that Jesus is my Lord and Savior, but He's also, when I say Lord, He's like, I give Him control of the things I do, right? That's what right. Lord is. Like, it's like you lord over someone. Like, but I say, okay, here's my life. I submit it to you. Now, how can I be the kingdom to the people in the room? How do I, when I meet with someone and they're hurting, I mean, think about, like, as a real estate agent, I'm with people in their dark hours sometimes because they have to go through a divorce, or they have a kid that, just left the home and now they're an empty nester. That's a sad time for people. Right. Or they have a death in the family. Yeah. Or their mom or dad just passed away and they own their house now and they don't know what to do with it. Or their spouse just passed away, and now should I live in a condo? Like, I deal with these things every single day. So I get to be with people as a minister of the gospel without right. having an official clergy title. Yeah. I'm the business guy, but guess what? I still bring the kingdom to them. And maybe I don't use all the churchy language in front of them. Right. But just my presence in the room as a Jesus follower, immediately the atmosphere has to shift. Yeah. It's in the Bible. It says it has to shift. So I just walk into the room. He's walking with me because He's one with me. For one, I'm a new creation, right? So I come into the room. I bring God's presence with me. Immediately, whatever's bad in the room has to leave. The evil spirits, the dark desires, all those things have to leave because I've just entered the room. I'm not God, but God is with me, right? So, and He's more powerful than anything, right? So anyway, that's kind of so a lot of people look at church as like, oh, you have to be on the stage to be an important person for Jesus. I say, whatever God's gifted you with today, whatever assets, relationships, friendships, neighbor relationships, job titles, whatever assets He's already given you, that's when He says, look in your hands, what do you already have? That's what you already have.
Well, and you know what? It's such a great message, Derek, and I really appreciate your sharing, where it's been for you. And I think that's a hard thing for people to see, and that's why it's such a great message. It's, you are God. That's right. To whomever. Right. And if
hands and feet, right?
Right.
That's it,
no,
right?
Exactly. We are His hands and feet.
Right. Yeah.
It's a special part of my journey as well. So I really appreciate your sharing that, because I'm not going to come on here and preach. Right. But it's being able to see that, and sometimes it's not you. Sometimes the people that you're with they show you the face of God.
Oh,
and
yeah.
maybe carry you through,
I agree with
a
that.
tough moment. And, having been through a divorce myself, I know exactly, all of a sudden, shoot, I have to say, like the real estate agents, other people, without them, picking me up and carrying me. And that was, as you said, that was the Lord.
Oh, definitely, for sure.
That was the Lord guiding me,
Oh, yeah.
And so it's amazing what people don't realize. And one of the things, so the bottom line is it's a great solid message, and it's important, I think, for all of us to remember that. And, your walk of life is whatever you're doing. Those are the gifts, as you said, that God gave us.
Well, and then think about it this way too, Chuck. Like, we are in a position, if we're constantly realizing and recognizing that God has already gifted us so much, it's a lot better for us to be out there in the community just freely giving that back out. Yeah. Whether that is our time, energy, investments, all these kind of things. In addition, all the stuff that happens behind the scenes in real estate, I'm not going to throw other realtors under the bus, okay? There's some amazing real estate agents out there.
Oh, sure.
But there are also some that aren't amazing, okay?
You're not just the only one?
There are. Listen, I'm very friendly with my quote-unquote competition, right? I will go to networking events, happy hours, I'll hug. I mean, I enjoy the friendly competition in my own industry. And then sometimes you're collaborating with it. And then sometimes you need that agent because, Chuck, you said you wanted to buy a house, and I'm going to take you to this house listed by this other agent. If I have a good relationship with that other agent, the likelihood of you getting that house is a lot higher. Because I say to them, listen, I've got a great client. I've already vouched for him. You know me. I'm going to get through this deal. There's going to be no drama. I'm not going to play all the realtor games with you. We're just going to get this deal done. And that agent's like, yes, I trust you. I like you. You've been doing business for 20 years. You're the president of the board of realtors and the chamber and all that. They know me. So then I get to bring the kingdom. I'm helping you in ways that you don't even know. Because behind the scenes, I can go to this agent and say, listen, I know we're in a competitive offer situation, and there's 5 bids. I know my clients are probably right around the same price. What's a deciding factor that could take my client over the edge for you? What is there something that we could do? So those kind of conversations could be huge, right? Because now this agent knows me, likes me, whatever, because I've created friends amongst my competition. Yeah. And so anyway, there's some subtle things that happen in the background as a kingdom entrepreneur, as a kingdom real estate agent, that I'm not going to call you, Chuck, and say, hey, here's all the stuff I did for you today. I just do it because guess who I'm working for? God.
That's right.
I work as though I'm working unto God. God knows everything. He sees all the behind-the-scenes stuff. I don't have to... Now, some points I have to tell you, hey, we did this. But in terms of all the little nitty-gritty behind-the-scenes
right.
stuff, I'm going to assume that God's going to take care of me on the next deal. And guess what? He does.
Yeah.
How the heck is this kid from Glen Estee, who my parents, we grew up in a house that was 2-bedroom house, and there was 5 kids. We had 1 bathroom, no garage, no basement, no central air conditioning. We shared everything, gravel driveway. That's how I grew up. And so I didn't come from some wealthy real estate family. So my wife and I have been working together all these years. Now we've had our hiccups too of financial things and the market crash and I'm not perfect, but no one's perfect, right? But I learned from all my mistakes too.
Right.
But coming to the table right now and saying, wow, look at all this stuff, I'm going to freely give it back to my clients and do it in the most humble way I can. Here's the crazy thing, Chuck. It's hard in my business because people have to know you are successful or else they won't hire you, but no one wants to hear you talk about how successful you are.
Right.
That's a tough one. So how are they supposed to know that you've won awards or you've sold a lot of homes? You want to be humble about it, but at the same time, if you don't tell them, they'll just choose their neighbor who might have sold 1 house and think they're going to do good because of that, right? I mean, does that make sense?
So why am I the journalist that you should talk to?
Yeah.
Or share your story.
That's
with?
true. Yeah, same thing. Right?
And why not the other guy? Or for again, why is Derek? What's funny, Derek, is as you said, you don't want to brag.
Right.
This is like pulling teeth to get you to really say what this. So I'm just going to tell the listeners he's accomplished some great things with the most recent certifications. That's why we got together today, and I think the stories that you shared will help our listeners, especially here in the Loveland community that we kind of focused on, understand the benefit to having agents, real estate agents. And I almost hate to use that term for you, but somebody who's going to help guide them through the home selling or the home buying process, or even just finding a property, let alone just homes.
Well, and there's another part to that too, is I deal with a lot of commercial stuff too.
Right.
So we have local people here in Loveland. Like today, another deal I'm working on, there's a piece of land very close to here that we're talking at, and my client wants to build 13 condos on that piece of land. So I'm going to be in charge of negotiating the purchase of the property, helping him develop a product that's sellable, and then he's going to get those approvals, and then he's going to we want to make sure it's a product that the community wants as well.
Right.
And then we're going to have to market the property. We need drawings, we need marketing materials, we need to build a model home, open houses. So it's not just a typical like buyer and seller. I'm dealing with developers, and I'm dealing with landowners, and then the commercial buildings here in Loveland. And now developers in other parts of this area are reaching out to me because they know that I've got a pretty good pulse on the business community here. Uh-huh. And they're saying, okay, Derek, we want to do more commercial properties, like buying strip centers and stuff like that. So I think you're going to see some more stuff in the near future that I'll be able to be involved with on that side too.
Outstanding. Derek, listen. You said time. God gives us time.
Yeah.
Well, God just told us time is up
for today.
All
right, that's fine.
So thank you so much for joining us here on Loveland Beacon Talks. And I will say one more time, congratulations.
Thank you.
On the most recent accomplishments and certifications and things. And, keep helping Loveland become the best it can be.
I have a big vision for Loveland, and it's already great, but I think it can get even greater,
All right. Until next time, Derek.
All right, thank you.
Thanks. Thanks again, Derek, for joining us here on Loveland Beacon Talks. Remember, Derek is ready to help you with your Loveland home buying or selling needs. I'm Chuck Gibson, saying thanks for listening here on Loveland Beacon. Loveland Beacon Talks is a presentation of Loveland Beacon Digital Media and Gibson Communications, LLC.